Poor white people need to join forces with right?
It's the time, y'all.
It's time for them to join forces with because the people who are in power, your politicians that you elect and put in that office, they don't give a about you.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real. Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
The government, right? On October 1st, it's shut down.
Yeah.
Right. And some of the ramifications are like people aren't getting their food stamps.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's people not just working for free, pretty much. Government, you know
like
what I mean?
TSA horrible right now.
TSA is all the way bad, right? So when you see something like that, and I think the longest shutdown we've ever had was 21 days. And it's the 21st day, but today, I think.
Today.
Right? So today is the 21st day. What do you see that going? Like what are the ramifications if it keeps going too long?
Trying to break the system. The Republicans are trying to break the system. They want to break the system. All you have to do is look at everything, all the policies, look at all the philosophies that have been birthed under this term of Donald Trump's administration. They want to break the system. They want to drive the country into a frenzy. When you talk about benefits and welfare and all that other kind of shit, that shit. See, they love to point out the fact that niggas are on welfare.
Right.
But there are more white people who are being negatively affected by not receiving government benefits and welfare benefits than there are black people. Black people, we already used to doing without. You hear me? Buy some pork and beans, motherfucker. Put that steak up. You hear me? Get you some hamburger going. Put that steak down. Put that what they call that crab boil up. Nigga, ain't no crab boil right now. We eating hot dogs. Niggas used to eating hot dogs. So it's white people, it's white people who are becoming more and more disenchanted with what the fuck is going on with the government. It's poor white people who are becoming more and more frustrated and looking for somebody or something to blame for why they ain't got the piece of the American pie. So all it's doing is driving up tension. They want to drive that tension up. They're using that whole thing to drive the tension between the races and between people up. First of all, rich black people, we ain't worried about it.
Right.
Rich white people ain't worried about no motherfucking government benefits because they're not getting it anyway, right?
Right.
The way you spark discontent and the way you spark dysfunction amongst human beings is you start with the lowest amongst them and you get them to go with each other. You don't see rich white people arguing with rich black people. You see poor white trash, mad, angry, and upset and want to blame everybody, Mexicans, niggas, for them being poor. Now you're poor because you a poor bitch. You psychologically poor. You've been poor. And you just a pawn on the chessboard. White people need to really come to terms with the understanding that the government as it exists now don't give a fuck about them. Poor white people need to join forces with right?
It's the time, y'all.
It's time for them to join forces with because the people who are in power, your politicians that you elect and put in that office, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They want to see you into an issue with other people so they can then send federal troops and they can change policies and enact policies that are going to have a negative impact on you and make life easier for them.
Man, that shit crazy, man. You know, with everything that's happening in the world, right? Do black people got to get back to family, bro? Do we got to get back to man, woman, community? Like, what do you feel like we should be doing?
Well, listen, so they say every action is preceded by a thought. Right? So the thought is the cause of it all. So if you don't change your thought process, then your actions, right, your behavior, your whole philosophy, your ideology will be exactly what it is right now. The question is, what do we need to get back to? Brother, listen, the whole Willie Lynch syndrome where he divided black people, where he enacted a philosophy to slave masters, right? Because they knew that you couldn't hold 5 million black African descendants in chattel and physical slavery forever. So they enacted a philosophy to psychologically enslave us because they knew they weren't gonna be able to physically hold us for long or forever. So the whole divide and conquer thing is the black nation is a house. And psychologically, we've been divided. We've been separated. We've been separated against each other. We've been separated from each other. There's no connectivity between black people anymore. There's no connectivity between black men and black women. There's no connectivity between black people as a whole. You have black people who look at each other like we're our ultimate enemies right now, right? Like 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, like during the civil rights era in 1960s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, right? We understood who our enemy was, right? Now we have been conditioned to believe, based on our behavior, that we are our own worst enemies. And in some cases, it is true.
Right.
Because when you go outside, brother, and you put your chain on, you put your clothes on, you jump in your car, you ain't worried about nobody white robbing you, do nothing to you, right?
Not at all.
So it is true that we have become our own worst enemy. So to answer your question about what we should do, we in trouble, bro. We in trouble. We are black people as a whole, as a unit, as a group. We are so far gone now that it is literally impossible for us to come back together, because it ain't just about I wrong you or you wrong me and we can't get past it. Right now, you have black people, you have generations, you have at least 2 generations of black people who were conditioned to hate each other. So this shit is systemic now. It ain't just that you shot Lil Pookie and you shot Ray Ray, and so therefore maybe we can get together and develop some common grounds and stop it, right? It ain't like it's Dirk versus NBA Youngboy. Right now, you have an entire generation of young black men and young black women who grew up in households that are completely dysfunctional, right? And so you have young black men and women nowadays who don't got a motherfucking clue about unity. They don't give a fuck about no unity. They only care about themselves. Yeah. And as long as we maintain the attitude that it is just us and we only care about ourselves, we would never be able to climb out the hole that we in right now. Because like I just said, you have a whole generation of black people now. And now we're working on the second generation of black people who don't believe that you my brother and you my sister. We don't believe that shit, bro. It ain't just about the fucked up education. It is what happens in our own household. Like, for example, right now, you have black women. Black women have been transformed into the enemy.
Break that down.
Listen, bro. I mentioned the whole Willie Lynch syndrome. Willie Lynch wasn't just about dividing the light skin and turning the light skin niggas
field versus
the dark skin niggas.
Yeah, field versus house.
Field versus house and the man versus the woman. The first thing they did is that they raped, molested, beat, and basically tried to destroy black women right in front of their men, and then their men couldn't do anything to save them. So what that does is that it psychologically puts it in your mind that there's nothing this nigga can do to save me. When you come out of slavery and go into the welfare system in the 1960s and 70s, if you want welfare, black woman,
gotta get rid of that man.
You gotta get rid of your man. So that's just another form of separating black men and black women. And you telling the black woman, hey, you need these benefits, you need this food stamps, you need to have, because back then it was called vendoring. You get your rent vendor, you get your utilities vendor, they would give you a stipend and pay for all that kind of shit. But if that man in that household, you can't get nothing. So what? So the black man, you go over there, he go over there, he a fucker, but he couldn't spend the night. Because if your worker come over there and see any signs, not just his physical body there, if your ADC or FIA worker came over there and see any signs that some shoes or drawers, because back in the day, the FIA worker used to walk through your house, looking in your cabinets, looking in the bedrooms, looking to check for any signs of a man. Any signs of a man will get you cut off your motherfucking benefits. So the issue is that black people, we in trouble. The black woman is actually the open enemy to the black family dynamic right now, because black women have been conditioned and trained. No nation can rise higher than the women operate inside the nation, because the women are the first teachers of the young black boys and girls. The women are supposed to hold the household together while the man goes out and does everything he can, everything in his power to bring back sustenance to the household, to maintain the household. Black women now, they've been taught and conditioned and trained that they don't need black men for anything.
Right.
And so now you have a whole generation of black women, or more, a generation and a half of black women who have zero respect for black men. Zero. You can't say nothing. You can't even correct them. So now, when they see this, first thing they're going to say, well, black men ain't handling his responsibilities. Hey, listen. Let me tell you something, sister. if you can't take instruction, if I can't correct you, if I can't call you out, if I can't do what I need to do in order to bring peace and harmony in the household without you getting mad, angry, and upset, and labeling me checking you, or labeling me trying to help you, labeling that as me being sassy, as me being a bitch ass nigga, as me being emotional like my mama, right? As me being anything other than a man who loves you and is trying to correct what you got going on and thereby correct what we got going on inside our household. Right. If we can't tell you nothing.
But let me ask you this though, because the solution can't be to give up on the black woman either though, because if we do that, then we really fucked, right? Because it's like a badass kid.
That's never the solution. But let me just
okay, yeah.
So I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So listen. So if we live in a situation where black women don't trust black men,
right?
They don't trust black men because they grew up in households absent or minus a strong black man,
right?
Whenever the discussion about a black man or about men, period, came up, it was always in some negative way, some negative connotation. So we always talk about how the absence of black male role models affect black men.
Right.
You grow up and you take on all the qualities of your mama, your grandmama. You become hyper emotional. You sassy as a motherfucker. You don't know how to deal with your anger because you respond and react like a woman would respond and react, right?
Straight up, yep.
But we never really examine with the absence of strong black role models or strong black men inside of a household, how the absence of that affect black women as well.
Right.
You have generations of black women. You got a black woman, she 14, her mama 26, her mama 38, and then her mama is 49. Ain't no man nowhere in that equation. So you have black women growing up in households, generations of them growing up, right? No black, they don't even know. See, listen, black women don't even know that you're supposed to step to the side and let a man open up the door for you, right? Black women don't even understand that. And when they say it as a way to degrade the black man for not doing it, right?
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move it. Hey.